Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Capnclydes MTG. We got some more Ixalan leaks, spoilers, and all that's in between coming today from the main set. Don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Check us out on Rumble. Links in the description for all of it, plus eBay, TCG Store, Patreon, all that good jazz. We get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We'll have a giveaway and all that good stuff. Help keep the channel sponsor free, so you ain't got to listen to my silly shit about meal prep and God knows what else some other sponsor might want me to tell you that is completely relevant. Really relevant. Anyway, so without further ado, let's get into it. We got Ixalan to hit up, so let's go. So from the main set, we're going to start with a Leaping Explorer. This 4 mana 3/2 is an artifact creature gnome. When Leaping Explorer enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card or a cave. Put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So we have Solum Simulacrum Light, or his not so smart brother, whatever you want to call it. This seems fine. I don't think it's good enough to go in commander decks. Maybe it is if you're playing for caves, because they'll let you get a cave. But 4 mana for a 3/2, there's probably better ways to do it. But in the grand scheme of things, if you're not playing green, this may be your only option. Simulacrum or Lacrum is already a thing. So we'll have to see how this pans out at the end of the day, and what it really boils down to once we're all done with it. Now, with that being said, there's a possibility this might see standard play. I doubt it. With 4 mana, there's a lot better things you could probably be doing. Unless you got an artifact theme, then this may be good enough. If you're doing artifact slash cave theme, this is definitely good enough. We'll have to wait and see. Now, for limited, this is definitely an all-star because it's A, mana fixing, and B, it's got legs, and it's 3/2, and it goes in any deck. So it will have some play, just not a whole lot. Next, we have, whoa, these names. It's Quinth. It's Quinth, firstborn of Gishath. Good lord. Yeah, let's just not even care about the English language, just put letters together. Anyway, so this dinosaur is a red and a green for a 2/3, already a decent rate, especially since it has haste. And when it enters the battlefield, you may pay 2, which is 2 colorless. If you do, target dinosaur you control deals damage to target creature equal to its power. So for 4 mana, you get a 2/3 and it'll do 2 damage to target creature. If you've got a bigger, nappier dinosaur, this comes into play, and the bigger, nappier dinosaur deals damage to something else. This is removal with legs, which is going to make it good. It's fine on turn 2. It's even good on late game. Also, since it's not a fight effect, you ain't got to worry about your 5/5 dinosaur fighting their 5/5 both dying, because it just deals power. It deals damage equal to its power, and then that's it. So this is going to be really good. It's going to see standard play. It's definitely going to see limited play. Definitely probably see some commander play for those guys loving those dinosaur decks, or a deck with Galta. Well, I guess not Galta because it's got red in it. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. It'll be good. All right, so moving on. Next we have, oh thank God, English. We have Basking Capybara. Never mind. This still sucks. Anyhow, a green and 1 for a 1/3. It has Descend 4. When you have Descend 4, it becomes a 4/3 for 2. Now, with that being said, this is probably going to be just okay in limited, probably okay in standard. This may be an all-star in the older formats, though, because of fetch lands. Because you can easily put 4 fetch lands in your graveyard by turn, I don't know, we'll say, well, by turn 3 you can't, but a 2 mana 4/3 seems pretty good. Now, with all the other creatures got going on for 2 mana, this probably still ain't good enough. But if we can find a way to get permanents into our graveyard quickly, this can be a serious player in some decks. Just gonna say it. The problem is right now, I don't see a lot of options with that. However, milling seems to be a thing. That's good English. Seems to be a thing in the set, so we'll have to wait and see. This could be a 2 mana 4/3 really quick. Next we have a Braid reprint. We look at that. So we get a Lightning Strike Light that also has Destroy Artifact. Obviously, this is an amazing card. Not to sell it short in any stretch of the imagination, this card is amazing. Obviously, it's going to be a limited All-Star. This always sees standard play. Hell, this sees play in older formats for the love of God. So yeah, great card, good reprint. It's going to be everywhere if you're playing red. Next we have Frilled Cave Worm. Nothing like a good old cave worm. Anyway, blue and 3 for this 2/5. It has Descend 4. So if you have 4 permanents in your graveyard, this is a 4/5 for 4. Basically the old Erhnam Djinn, except it's blue and doesn't give Forest Walk and is not always 4/5. Anyway, this is a fine card. Might be okay in standard. I mean, 4 mana 4/5 seem good. Again, depending on what you want to do to put permanents in your graveyard. Limited, this is going to be an all-star. 4 mana 2/5 is already alright for filler, but when this thing becomes a 4/5 because you've got creatures dying on a regular basis and filling your graveyard up quick and early, 4/5 on turn 4 is definitely going to be a thing. Alright, so next we have Primordial Gnar. Black and 4 for a 5/2. When it dies, you get to discover 3, i.e. Cascade. So this is really good, in my opinion. I mean, limited command, limited all-star, decent commander card. 3 or less is not all that great, but still you get something when it dies. I don't think it's going to see standard play. 5 mana for just a 5/2, probably not good enough, and there are several removal spells that exile, which means this may not actually die technically, so therefore you won't get to discover 3, i.e., let's just call it Cascade. Anyway, so, but yeah, in limited commander, this is probably going to be a pretty cool thing, especially if you got some kind of sacrifice shenanigans going on. So you get, something for sacrificing your creature to cast a spell, plus you get to discover 3. Good stuff. Next we have Kazlim's Stone Tree. Alright, so this is a green and 2. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them on the battlefield tap, put the rest of the bottom in a random order. So this is a 3 mana land fixing card, which is just toodles. Because it says a land. Notice it says land. It doesn't say basic. So you can get any land, no matter what, which makes this amazing. So it's already good there. Then it has Craft with a Cave, green and 5. Once you do that, it becomes a 5/5 artifact creature. So, I mean, limited is going to be great. It's mana fixing. It may see some standard play just because it does do mana fixing and can become a threat later. But other than that, it'll probably see some commander play, not a whole lot. But mainly just probably a limited all-star and maybe standard if it's lucky. Alright, moving on. Next we have the Hulking Raptor. 2 green and 2 for a 5/3 dinosaur with Ward 2, already decent. It says at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add 2 green. Hello. So if this is on the battlefield, it's just going to give you a rebate every turn, so that you can cast even bigger stuff on the following turn. Which is probably why it's a 5/3, so you can kill this monstrosity before it gets out of freaking hand. Because if they lay this on turn 4, you don't deal with it. They're laying stuff on they're laying 7s on turn 5, and no one wants that, except for the person playing this card. Also, notice it's not legendary, so if they play more than 1, it just gets ugly. This is going to be an all-star, not just in limited because it's a 4 mana 5/3, but the ramp ability plus standard all-star, because, well, 4 mana 5/3, that gives you free mana, plus has Ward 2. This is going to be something hard to deal with. It's going to take somebody's whole turn if they're playing a Braid, because it's 2 for the Braid, 2 for the Ward. Basically, it's a 4 mana green Time Walk at worst. At best, it's a 5/3 threat that you can play things to shoot stuff out of the way, or just make bigger things and lay more egregious things on the next turn if they don't deal with this. This thing is going to be an issue in standard. Older formats, May see some action with this. I mean, you put an elf out or something that's going to make mana, get this out on turn 3, get it out 1 turn early if you're lucky. It could really cascade giggity quickly into a big casting cost spells. Commander All-Star, I mean, imagine laying this on turn 4, and then on turn 5 laying a Great Hinge, um, almost for free, because you'll have 5 mana. The Great Hinge costs, what is it, 2 green and 7. That gives it 5 mana discount. It gives you 2 green. So for 2 mana, you get a Great Hinge on turn 5, which you can tap to get the 2 mana back and then lace. It's out of hand. So this is good. I would get them while they're relatively cheap. Especially if you want foils. I'm sure the price will come down since it's only a rare eventually. But if you want to play this early, you better pre-order it now. Alright, next we have the Contested Ball Game. So this artifact for 2 colorless, whenever you're dealt combat damage, the attacking player gains control of Contested Ball Game and untaps it. So for 2 mana and tap, you draw a card and put a point counter on the Contested Ball Game. Then if it has 5 or more point counters on it, sacrifice it and create a treasure token. This is definitely interesting. This is probably a reference to the old Maya game with the ball and all that good stuff. I don't know, Google it, you'll figure it out. But anyway, this is really cool. The fact you get to draw a card, and then eventually it just goes away. It does really feel like a win more card, because it's just going to get passed around. Because the minute you play this, someone's going to punch you in the face to take it. Just saying. Because they get to untap it and immediately use it. So casting this for 2 is like saying, hey, look, I have the initiative, or I have what is it called? Throne or whatever. I don't remember. But still, with that being said, this is an amazing card. Under the right circumstances, this could be really good and limited. Probably going to be good and limited regardless, as long as somebody don't steal it from you. Anyway, in standard, this has lots of possibilities. If you're playing a creature deck that can easily block, so you can keep this. I mean, 2 mana to draw a card, so you can lay a creature block and keep the Contested Ball Game in play, so you can keep drawing. I mean, it could be a bottomless pit of you drawing creatures to just keep blocking so you don't lose this. Or it could be you buying enough time to get through your deck to do some serious damage. So, I think we're going to have to watch this card and be very careful of how it plays out and what it gets played in. And if you want to play this in Commander and really just stir some shit up for 5 turns until this thing leaves the battlefield and someone gets a treasure out of it, yeah, have at it. Seems like fun. So, with all that said, guys, I do believe we're done for this day. It was a short one, but hey, we're getting close to almost all of them. We'll review Commander cards later after we finish up these, and then we'll go through a lot of other stuff. So, until next time, be kind, and as always, I hope to see you across from the game table.